Welcome back to Egan Brooks' Psychology channel. Today we're going into a very special episode. It is how our past dictates our future. Now, something a lot of us aren't aware of is the experiences that we went through have shaped us enormously to what we think we have to do in the future. The past dictates the future. And I'm going to illustrate why, because I know for me it played a huge role in my journey. So we're going to simplify this to at least start to get you to ask some questions. Am I doing things out of fear? And I'll give you some examples to get you thinking. The only thing that we can all access right now is this current moment. Let's call that now, the present moment. So, why are we so obsessed with the future? I'm going to do this. I'm going to save $100,000 this year. I'm going to travel. Why do we have so much ambition? Why are we so preoccupied with the future? Now, my argument is a lot of it comes from fear. And when I relate my story into this, I was constantly promising myself all of these things inside. I was promising myself this happiness. I was writing contracts to myself that if I achieve this level of football, then I'll be happy. And I was so preoccupied by the future that it dominated my now. I couldn't enjoy the now. So I'm going to prove to you why the past is actually corrupting our present moment and our future and taking away from the present moment, which is the gift of life. So, when we grow up and we have early experiences, we start to form an identity. An identity is simply who we think we are. Now, the way we were raised, the culture we're in, the things that happen to us when we're in school, were we sporty, did we love studying, all of those things start to influence our beliefs about who we are. But the problem with this is a lot of us go through limiting experiences which create these glass ceilings where we think we are only capable of X amount in any domain of life. So for me, I was quite academic and sporty. So for me, I started to develop all these beliefs that anything is possible. I can achieve anything. But unfortunately, it also led to me overthinking because I thought that I wasn't worthy unless I achieved that. So my identity was formed out of ego and out of a need to prove myself. Now, what I'm going to argue here is now when I went to an elite private school and I was forced into competition and I wasn't as successful, I was unable to enjoy and feel good about who I was, and I kept looking to the future. I kept looking to, if I achieve this, then I'll be happy. I was so distracted and preoccupied by what wasn't happening now, what I needed to do in order to feel good. So a lot of us are going to go through limiting experiences. We might not be successful in sport, we might get bullied. All of these things shape who we are. And deep down in our subconscious, these stories are getting written such as, I'm only good enough when, I can't speak because I don't deserve a voice. All of these unobservable scripts are being written into our subconscious. And now every time we experience life in the present moment, we're experiencing it through this filter, this belief system that we have. Now, everything we interpret through life goes through this RAS. It's a brain filter. It's called the reticular activating system. Now, it's wired to keep us safe, and the way it does that is through keeping the outside world that it observes congruent and similar to the way we see ourselves. So unfortunately, when we have these limiting beliefs, we stop ourselves from going out there, reaching success, attracting success, because deep down we don't believe we deserve it. So unfortunately, a lot of these experiences are now corrupting the way we go out into the world. So I'm now going to talk about this side of it, which is how we are so unable to access the present moment because we're distracted about the future. Now, I call the future the home of projection. And why that is because you're able to see where your fears are being projected. All of the things that you tell yourself you are going to achieve, there is some element in that that can give you an insight into some of your fears. Now, for me, I remember creating a lot of goals around sport. As my story unfolded, I was able to realize that a lot of it came from fear. I felt like I had to prove myself and my masculinity by achieving a certain level of sport. So all of my fears and my worries about who I was as a man were being projected onto the future because the model is, if I achieve this, then I will feel this way and then I'll be removed from the pain and I will feel good enough and problems won't exist. I will have control over it. And because our mind loves control, we start to wrestle with all these future ideals. I'll achieve all these things and then I'll feel good and I won't have to deal with stress anymore. Our mind will tell us this because it wants to project its pain onto the future so it doesn't have to face it right now. That is the motto of projection. So our brain is wired for safety and comfort. It wants to remove all of this and put it onto the future. And that's what I kept doing, the cycle I kept doing. But I want you to become aware of this, because if our past experiences and our beliefs shape who we are and who we are right now and the way we interpret the world, then it also has a flow-on effect where this is influencing what we do in the future and who we think we need to become, who we think we are, who we think others perceive us as. We want to keep this consistent. So if you can see in a clear demonstration that if the past controls the now and the future is controlled by the now, then of course the past is shaping the future. And it's all through fear. It's all because we are scared. We're scared to face who we are. We're scared to face hard questions about life. You know, it's easy to keep the pattern of playing out where we're stuck in this middle ground and things are okay, but ultimately it is not fulfilling at a deeper level. And I think a lot of us realize this and feel this. So if you can start to become aware of these patterns in your life, start to ask yourself these questions. What am I truly driven for and why? Is it from a place of fear or love? Why do I think I have to achieve this in the first place? Is it a part of who I am, or was I told by my parents, society, friends that this is what I need to do? Can I trace back the origins of where this goal came from in the first place? What values of mine are integrated into this pursuit? Is it my ability to be curious and grow and learn things to help other people? Or is it from a place of lack, a place of fear? I need to achieve this because I need people to perceive me in a certain way. Now, the answers to these questions are very difficult to figure out in yourself because it means you have to be honest with yourself, and that can be hard. So I recommend going to a true friend at least. Have this discussion. Talk about your goals. Talk about why you have them in the first place. And if you can get to the root of that, you might be able to uncover some of these patterns which are keeping you stuck in the past and not able to enjoy the present moment. I hope this gave you a little taster of how the past, the present, and the future are connected through our beliefs about who we are, and where love and fear are entangled with each other in almost a wrestling contest. So, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I hope you learned something new. And if you're new, I'm grateful to have you here. I'm excited to keep bringing you along this journey to the Psychology with Egan channel. I'll see you in the next episode. Like and subscribe for more.